the Silver Screen City.
All right, welcome back to the show. This is Jared.
And I'm Michael.
Yay! And today's episode, we are going to be discussing... What are we discussing, Michael?
Today, we are discussing our favorite first movies of directors.
Yes, so the directorial debuts that were the best, according to us.
Yes, this is, we compiled lists. We have 10, 5 each. And what we did here is we combed through a lot of directors. And this was a hard task, harder than we thought, because we combed through directors to find out what their first movie was, and if it resonated with being a memorable movie or not. We had a lot of movies that we thought were a director's first, but turns out they did something before, which was usually very obscure and indie. So that kind of took off the list. We took them off the list. So sorry, you're not going to see any Christopher Nolan here or Steven Spielberg.
I was hoping we'd get to talk about Edgar Wright, but he did something back in like 95, so that disqualified him, unfortunately.
Yes. Although we did not take into account if they did music videos, documentaries, or shorts of any type. Mm-hmm. So most of the people we have on our list did something like that, like first, but these are their first feature films.
Yes. All right, you can go ahead and start.
All right. So for my first pick, I picked somebody who actually had been around doing a lot of music videos and a lot of skateboarding documentaries and stuff of that nature, and that is Spike Jonze with his first full-length movie, Being John Malkovich.
Nice.
So he's an interesting character. He's definitely hits the cool factor. He's definitely directed some movies that were hyped up and then weren't great, like Where the Wild Things Are. That was really disappointing.
It looked so cool from the trailers, and I watched it and I was like, it wasn't that good.
The problem with that movie was like, let's stretch like a 5-minute children's book into an hour and a half, which is difficult. So, but anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Being John Malkovich, which is one of the strangest, most unique and creative movies I've seen. I mean, it's the stuff of complete randomness. This strange dude finds a door in his office, which happens to be on like the 3.5 level. So it's like only like 4 feet tall or 3 feet tall floor, and everybody's hunched over walking around the office floor. And he finds a door that leads into the brain of John Malkovich, and he can live and experience all things John Malkovich.
I wish I could have seen everyone that auditioned for this, their faces when they read the script, and be like, what?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
The only reason this movie got made is because John Malkovich was completely tied to this. Yeah. And everybody loves John Malkovich, so somebody greenlighted it, and they're like, well, okay, John says do it, then we're going to do it. I mean, a different writer. It was Charlie Kaufman, he wrote Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, an adaptation, so...
He's very interesting, that's for sure.
Which could be confusing going back to Michel Gondry, who directed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Mm-hmm. It was the same writer that did Being John Malkovich.
Yeah, I get Spike Jonze and Michel Gondry mixed up completely because they're very similar in the style. I guess if you're adapting the same author who is quirky, then you're going to make a quirky movie.
Yeah. Spike Jonze, very interesting director, very quirky and cool. Being John Malkovich is very entertaining and weird, and that's my first pick.
Wow. That's a good one. All right. My first pick, I picked Neil Blomkamp for District 9.
Oh man, that's a great one.
Yeah, this movie is wonderful, and it was an interesting time before this movie was made because I remember seeing his short film that he made, which was it was like a short documentary, a fake documentary about I think it was like about aliens who are trying to cope with living amongst humans or something, very similar to District 9. And that got so much critical praise that someone's like, "Oh well, we need to get you on board. We need you to direct a Halo movie." And so he was on board for directing the first Halo movie. All sorts of stuff fell through with that, and so he went off to do his first feature film, which was District 9. I was excited for it simply because I really liked his little short that he did and the fact he was tied to Halo, and I was just pumped to see that. But this is like, I'm like, all right, well, I'll see this instead. Yeah, it came out, and it was weird because it felt like it was a video game movie. Like the way things progressed, how he gradually gets better skill, and he learns to use certain weapons, and he upgrades into a suit of armor. I was like, this feels like the progression of like a video game. Like by the end of it, you're just like in a suit of armor, just mowing people down. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, all his movies do.
Yeah, they do.
They all look like they're PlayStation 4 games.
Yeah, but the best thing about him becoming a director altogether is that he introduced the world to Sharlto Copley, and I love Sharlto. Because they're like,
awesome.
yeah, they're like friends. They grew up together and stuff. And he's like, "Hey, you want to be in my movie?"
That's the best, man. When there's a good director that has a go-to great actor and they're buddies, and that's a great chemistry. I mean, Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg and Nick
Oh yeah,
Frost. That's like the best trio ever
yeah.
in movies.
I
And
wish we could have talked about them.
I know, man. Like he had to. Edgar Wright, we were definitely wanting to put Edgar Wright on our list, but he had to go and direct something in '94 that nobody's heard of or seen.
It was like a fistful of fingers or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, District 9. It was very good. Unfortunately, Neil has gone to just underwhelm in the box office, and just altogether, I did not like Elysium at all. It was so preachy and just ham-fisted with its message.
Yeah, I liked the first like act of that movie, and then it just kind
Oh
of
yeah, me too.
it felt like it could take place in the same universe as District 9. Like I love the way they did like LA.
Yeah, and that's another case of why did you cast Matt Damon for that? Because he did
I know.
not fit whatsoever.
Yeah, that was definitely a studio move.
Yeah, that was weird. But and then Chappie, it was better than Elysium, but still it's just weird.
I started that movie and I couldn't finish it.
I don't like his style anymore. Like it's just worn its welcome. It's like RoboCop, but without the fun of RoboCop and campiness. It's like he's being too serious with these stories. It's just not fun to watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I thought District 9 was fun. It had emotion, but it was also really fun. Chappie was good for just watching Charlton play Chappie and kind of learn stuff. That was the best part, was him learning to adapt to his environment. And then, but once he started like trying to swear a lot and everything and becoming violent, it was just not. It's just like, this isn't fun anymore.
Yeah.
Lost your
Plus,
charm.
Plus Diane Wood kind of just brought the whole film down.
Yeah, I surprisingly didn't mind the girl so much, but Ninja, he was a bit much.
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, there's apparently only two, technically three, technically four famous things that come out of South Africa. Two of them we've already talked about, the director and the star of District 9. I will butcher their names. Their names again?
Neil Blomkamp and Charlton Copley.
Yes, thank you. And the other things to come out of that is the crazy, insane rap, rock, crazy band Die Antwoord, which is a duo of um, a boy named Ninja and a girl named Yulandi, and they are insane. And they met together, and they're like, "Hey, you're famous from South Africa. We're famous from South Africa. Let's. How about you be in our movie?" And it was actually apparently really bad. Like they were really hard to work with.
I can imagine.
Yeah, like Ninja is like a self-proclaimed director himself. He directs all their insane music videos. Yeah, if you want to know what we're talking about, YouTube Die Antwoord
Oh, or not.
or
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Not safe
It's
for work, everybody.
strong warning there. They
Yeah,
are
just
very weird.
yeah,
I
yeah.
watched
Anyway.
one of their music videos. I was like, "What am I listening to?"
What am I
That-
seeing? What am I hearing?
Yeah, that girl. All I remember is one line from the song. The girl was like, she raps like really fast, but she was like, "Neil Blomkamp's gonna make me a movie star." That was one of the lines. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
They and they go in and out of African or whatever the language they speak, and it is just so bizarre and frankly terrifying.
Yeah, I know.
If anything else, they're terrifying.
It's
So.
like watching a nightmare.
Yeah. It's like if Marilyn Manson and Nicki Minaj had a set of twins, that they would be Diane Wood.
Yeah, that's
And
my
he's got
pick.
a striking resemblance to Vanilla Ice. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, so that's my pick.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Next, I felt like this was a good one and an easy one to pick because he's very well known and he started directing and oh my gosh, he's good at directing. Ben Affleck.
What?
For
No,
what? Yeah.
not flat face Ben.
The movie is Gone Baby Gone. It looks kind of like I want to be Martin Scorsese too, sort of feel. But it turned out it was actually really good.
I like how you leave out the S in Scorsese.
Scorsese.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Anyway, Corswayze. I'm gonna say Corswayze.
Anyways, yeah, go ahead. Gone Baby Gone was excellent.
Yeah, it was a really good movie. I'd seen it once and it was a while back, but I remember being very impressed with it. Great acting. It was definitely like a very heavy movie and it was a very serious movie. Um, it looked like it could have been. It reminded me a lot of Mystic River.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Ben Affleck this was his first movie of 3 so far, and The Town was really good. Probably not as good as Gone Baby Gone, and then Argo was really good. I mean, it got Best Picture, so it was a pretty impressive short resume of directorial movies by Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah, he started strong.
Yeah, he should just stay behind the camera. Don't go in front of it. No. Okay. All right. You can go in front of it as long as you go back behind the camera as well. Like The Town worked. He was able to be on both sides of the camera and it was fine.
Yeah.
Just stay behind the camera if we're going to have to deal with you.
And I'm excited for him to direct Batman.
Yeah, is he going to be Batman too?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's directing and starring in his solo Batman movie.
That should be interesting.
So you imagine like The Town, that kind of grittiness with a Batman movie? Oh baby.
That sounds very, very similar to Christopher Nolan's Batman's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's keep that train going with those dark Batman movies.
Yeah. All right. You want to take us to our next one?
Sure. My next one, I put Moon, who's directed by Duncan Jones. That's right, David Bowie's son. And,
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep. Dun,
Was
dun,
there any David Bowie references in that movie?
Not that I know of. I don't think there was.
Huh.
I think he would probably like to stand on his own and not feel like he has to mention his dad. I don't know. That's just
He
me.
he didn't name his character Ziggy Stardust because I would have.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he's since gone on to direct stuff like Source Code and most recently Warcraft, which I hear is kind of bombing with critics.
Blue.
But his first movie ever was Moon. I believe he met Sam Rockwell before, like long before, and Sam said, "Hey, write a movie for me." And Duncan Jones is like, "All right." And so he came back to Sam Rockwell a while later and he said, "Hey, here's my movie." And Sam Rockwell was like, "Wow." It's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Sam Rockwell just basically rocked out the entire movie by himself with the voice of Kevin Spacey
Kevin Spacey. Like David
As-
Spacey?
as the robot. And gosh, it was so good. I'm not going to really talk about it too much because, if I even mention some of the premise, it kind of is a spoiler. But I know we spoil stuff all the time on the show, but yeah, I don't want to spoil that one because that one's it's just fantastic.
Yeah. You know a movie totally ripped off of Moon?
What?
Oblivion.
That's right. Yeah, it did have all that same kind of twist to it. Who directed that? Wasn't it? That was someone who was kind of up and coming too, right?
Yeah. Joseph Kosinski?
Kaczynski. Yeah, he did something else that was really popular
He did,
with.
he did Tron Legacy.
Okay, yeah, and Tron Legacy was all right. It was.
Funny thing about him is he's obviously not a great director yet, but the best thing he's done for his two movies that he's done is he got one band to do the entire soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
Like Tron Legacy was Daft Punk, and that was amazing.
yeah. That was very good soundtrack. I don't even
And
like
then,
that kind of music, but it fit the environment so well.
yeah, and then the same thing with Oblivion. M83 did the whole soundtrack to
I
Oblivion,
don't
so
know who
and
that
that
is.
was yeah, it's okay. It's the soundtrack to Oblivion's really good.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, but anyway, I'm looking forward to his next movie soundtrack,
Diane Word.
whoever that is. Diane Wood, yes. Sweet.
This has been a great list so far because I think every single one that we've listed, we've gone on a tangent.
All right.
I don't think we've stayed on point for more than like 5 seconds for each movie.
Yes.
Oh man, but yeah, Moon's good.
Let's talk about Sean Connery for a minute, okay? So this was one time.
Oh man. So
right.
yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, Moon. Go see Moon if you haven't seen Moon.
The soundtrack to Moon, that main theme, because that plays when you have the DVD, it plays over the menu. I literally left that on all day one day and just left the menu playing to play that because it's so haunting. All it is just one piano. It's like two piano notes. That's all it is. It's just like but it like plays that same thing, but it has some more piano bits going behind it. But
Yeah.
it was so good, and it just I don't know why it was so simple. I just loved it, and so yeah, soundtrack is great on that one too.
Yeah, there was another movie that I had the exact same experience where I put just like they had their main like theme song jingle they put on the DVD, and I just let the menu run.
Yeah.
That was I Heart Huckabees.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
remember the
forgettable.
song.
Yeah, it just had this very like boom, ba-da-dum, boom, ba-da-dum, blum, 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 very like contemplative, like But anyway, I go too far down another
I
rabbit
know.
hole.
I'm already thinking of other stuff. One quick aside. We should do a thing on the worst like DVD menu music or something. The word
Yeah.
I remember because I fall asleep to movies a lot, and this is before We had DVD players that would auto shut off and stuff like that. Of course, TVs have always had kind of auto shut offs kind of stuff. I remember, I think it was Shanghai Nights had like the most loud, obnoxious menu, and it had like sound effects, blowing up stuff, and I would wake up every time I would fall asleep to that. It frustrated me. Gosh, that drives me nuts. Anyways, that's way out there.
Yeah. All right. Bringing it back. All right. Tune in next time for the second half of. Yeah. Anyway, so is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right. So this is a really fun one. For my next pick, I picked Trey Parker. You might know him as the co-creator of South Park.
Oh my gosh.
Him, Trey Parker, and Matt Stone. Their first movie was Cannibal the Musical. This is a cult classic. Most people haven't heard of this movie at all, but this movie they made. So Trey Parker and Matt Stone were roommates in college in Colorado, and for a film project for school, they made a full-length movie, Cannibal the Musical.
Didn't they film it like all over spring break?
Yeah, they filmed it all in a week of spring break in Colorado, and it really doesn't matter what the movie is about.
Because that's not what it is about.
Yeah, so it's just they decided to they took this like random obscure story and they turned it into a musical and a comedy, and the movie is so low budget.
Yeah, you might recall us talking about it briefly about Trey Parker dubbing over that guy's voice. You're doomed.
You're doomed. Yeah, they had an actor like give the little like the old crazy like warning that a lot of scary movies have, and they had this actor who was actually an actual impersonator or he was a historical actor for the character that the movie was based off.
Nice.
So anyway, this movie is really crappy and really hilarious, and it so happens, and it was like it had some like like cheesy gory B horror movie violence a little bit,
thanks to Trauma.
So, yeah, and it was picked up by Trauma, infamous Trauma video or films.
People who make like the Toxic Avengers movies and Romeo and Juliet, all those really bad B movie garbage.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're gonna go and you're gonna go listen to Diane Wood and you're like really like that, then go ahead and go see some Trauma movies while you're at it, because they're pretty much down the same horrible, disgusting street.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So anyway,
the best thing about this though was the music is actually really good. Like Trey Parker is fantastic at writing music.
He's super talented. If you didn't see it in this movie and you didn't notice it in South Park, that the movie got Oscar nominated.
He won an Oscar, didn't he, for that?
Yeah, Blame Canada, I believe.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Team America, great music for that.
One of the best soundtracks ever.
And then if you're still in denial, then you can look to their Book of Mormon musical that is multi-Tony Award-winning musical.
There you go. Yeah, Trey Parker, he's pretty talented.
Yeah, pretty talented. So anyway, this was a great movie to see. It's worth watching once through.
Or at least getting the DVD and listening to the commentary, because that made it like 10 times funnier. Because, from the beginning, all the guys are there, and they're telling like all these really personal stories about like just people that were involved with the production and all that, and just to top it all off, is they're progressively getting more and more drunk throughout.
Yeah.
So by the end, it's just like so incoherent and stupid.
Yeah, which we don't condone, but it is really funny to listen.
Yeah, it made for a very interesting listen.
Yeah. So in that case, watch it twice.
Yeah,
so.
watch twice. Yeah, I remember him talking about one scene that they shot where they're all like walking towards the camera, and then he yells cut Like, but they didn't cut it out.
Yeah, I remember that. That was so funny. Like, mouth.
That's so good.
But it's so funny. They're so proud of it. It's like the funniest long hour and a half joke.
Yep.
One of my favorite cult classics.
Oh yeah. Yeah, let's bring it back. And my next pick, I put Dumb and Dumber from the Farrelly Brothers. Bobby and Peter.
Oh my gosh. That's too good to be true.
I know. This is arguably one of the funniest movies ever made. I love it. And this was I remember seeing this in the theater with my parents, and even they thought it was funny. And my parents, they can be a little prudish at times. My dad, not my dad. My dad, he likes South Park. I don't know if I should say that or not, but Dumb and Dumber. What?
I could totally hear your mom saying, "Jared."
Yeah. Oh yeah. My mom doesn't like that kind of stuff, but yeah, she found Dumb and Dumber funny, which was surprising. But this movie, I remember even in college, me and Eric Hinkle used to watch it every day when we were roommates. We tried to memorize it. So we would each take different roles. I'd be like Lloyd and he'd be Harry, but it never stops to be funny though. I can seriously watch it every time and still think it's hilarious just because the performances are that good. I think this is by far Jim Carrey's best performance comedically anyways. It's just so good.
So funny. Like, it's sad that and as expected as it was, Dumb and Dumber 2 was not that funny.
Yeah.
But
it was miles better than Dumb and Dumberer, but
I told you to never speak of that. Yeah, that one was not even worth the watch. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, what a great classic comedy. Definitely in my funniest movies of all time category, easily.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's so stupid, but it's okay because it completely gets a write-off because that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be stupid. They're stupid. That's the plot, you know? But it's just so, I mean, when you think about who's doing it, and Jim Carrey, at the time, he was like, oh, Jim Carrey's so popular and funny. It's like, Jim Carrey's a comedic genius, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't a known thing then, it sure is a staple now.
I did not know that Jeff Daniels was funny at all.
Yeah.
And his Harry is almost forced at times, but I still think it's hilarious. I mean, how do you compete with Jim Carrey, though? I mean, you have to try hard to be able to pull off what he can.
Yeah. I mean, it's really his only, it's his only comedy that he's done.
Yep, those two.
Those two Dumb and Dumber movies.
Yeah.
He's a pretty straight-laced, oftentimes serious actor. Like, he is completely unfunny in The Newsroom, the TV show.
I haven't watched that.
That show is pretty unfunny altogether. Yes, it wouldn't have been as famous had it not had Jim Carrey in it. But
yeah, unfortunately, the Farrelly Brothers didn't really hold on to their success, and they had a couple of decent movies after Dumb and Dumber, but they're just kind of. It's like they're kind of going the route of the gross out humor. Let's just see how gross we can get.
Yeah, they kind of really upped the ante on the gross out humor. I'm not gonna say they invented it, but before that there wasn't a lot of like gross out humor. Like there was like Corky's and Caddyshack and stuff like that, but it wasn't like, oh, that's disgusting and it's so awkward and disgusting. It's hysterical,
Yeah.
I love Kingpin, their second movie. Kingpin's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Dumb and Dumber is a great pick. Good pick.
Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, for my next movie, I picked Guy Ritchie, who directed Log, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Nice.
Which is anything but a prequel to Snatch, one of my favorite movies. Same sort of, it was pretty much the same movie, just the exact same style and sort of like time and place, just different characters, different story. he just like really nailed the whole like kind of comedic like crime underworld, you know, of London, and it's just kind of a very quirky movie, and I feel like everybody saw Snatch because it had Brad Pitt in it, and everybody saw it. It was like, oh, this is really good, you know. And then a lot of the people that like Snatch, they would go back, they would learn about Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and then they would go back and watch that. That's what
Hmm.
happened to me,
Yeah.
which was really. In fact, there was this band I liked in college called The Deal. Do you remember The Deal?
I don't
You
think
just
so.
you probably just remember all the terrible music that all your friends listened to in college.
Yeah, I was stuck in the middle of all this throwing down going on.
Oh, and you're like, oh my gosh. Anyway, there was one of those bands called The Deal, and I bought their band T-shirt. I mean, not just because I liked them, but mainly because on the shirt it was a picture of Vinnie Jones from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels holding the guns, the
I
barrels,
remember that shirt.
shotguns. Yeah, I wore it a lot.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish I still had that somewhere. Anyway, it was like my favorite shirt, and
Mm.
actually, I actually wore that. I bought that shirt before I had seen the movie, but I kind of knew what it was from, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's my pick. I love Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. Good movie.
Yeah, it's a good way to start a career.
Hmm. I forgot that he directed the Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which I gotta say, I've never really liked them all that much. I
I'm
know.
with you. I think I fell asleep for both. I think they're all right. I just I don't know. It's not that entertaining to me.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't. I like more of the Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. performance than the Sherlock Holmes
Yeah.
Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. Deformance.
Well, that was the case in sometimes when he'd put on masks.
Yeah, so they just didn't have that old familiar Guy Ritchie feel.
Yeah, he needs to just write something fresh. He's just like adapting stuff now.
Yeah. Oh wow. You go to the Man from Uncle IMDb homepage, and it's completely like customized to their big banner.
Oh, really?
Very cool. Yeah.
Army Hammer.
Army, I am Army Hammer. Um. Anyway, so yeah, Guy Ritchie.
Good pick. And yeah, there's Alicia Vikander, who is our Tomb Raider. And that brings us to my next pick. I picked Alex Garland in his first movie ever, which was Ex Machina.
Oh, speaking.
Also stars Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
Um, Now, Alex Garland, he is probably my favorite writer in terms of sci-fi, anyways.
Hmm.
Gosh, he's written probably like all these movies that I love, and I didn't know he was tied to all of them. What?
Hmm.
Let's see. Let's just look through his writing credits here. Oh, of course, The Beach. There you go, Michael. 28 Days Later, Sunshine, Dread, Ex Machina, and he's doing a screenplay for Halo apparently.
Oh, they're still trying to get Halo off the ground.
Guess
Jeez.
so. But gosh, I love 28 Days Later and Sunshine. Him teamed up with Danny Boyle is just like magic. So,
Yeah.
anyways, he's after all these years of writing, he's like, well, I want to write something and direct it. So he wrote Ex Machina and decided to direct that. And I was just like, well, I have to see that because I love his writing so much. And my goodness, was Ex Machina good. It was so great.
Yeah. It was really good.
Such a
I,
good
lo-
concept.
yeah, and I love Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, this is my favorite Oscar Isaac performance. He's
Yeah.
he's like his character's like equally terrifying and charming, and he kind of makes you make the whole thing unsettling at times
Yeah.
because you don't know like what is he like a good guy? Is he really just messing with everything? I don't know. It was
There was such a Steve Jobs sort of like you're
yeah,
like thing about him. You're like, I bet this is how Steve Jobs was like. I'm sure he
yeah.
was just like very like intellectual and smart, like very warm and welcoming on the outside, and then the inside very like manipulative and
Mm-hmm.
scary.
And likes to disco dance in his bedroom.
Oh my gosh, that scene was so funny.
Yeah, it was so. It didn't. It was so off tone, but it was so awesome. And
He's like he's like, I don't want to talk anymore. I want to dance.
it's so
Goes
good.
into this like perfect like disco dance.
Yeah, yeah, so good. I can't say enough good things about this movie, but Alex Garland, he's an excellent writer, and he has proven he can direct.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Hmm. All right, which comes to my last pick, and I picked Bottle Rocket by Wes Anderson.
Ooh, the West.
The Wes Anderson. Now, I remember us liking Wes Anderson before it was super cool
That's
to
right.
like Wes Anderson. That's right. Wes Anderson was at first more famous for his like dialogue and the scripts of his movie than just like the art style.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, you see Grand Budapest and Moonrise Kingdom, like they're just like completely stylized and super hipstery, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But I mean, his first movie, Bottle Rocket, wasn't at all. Like, it's not
No.
really that stylish at all. It's low budget. You know, it now has a fitting cover art that the rest of his movies have.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
but
his brother, Wes Anderson's brother, does all the art for all of those
oh yeah,
movies.
yeah. So and the great thing too is that the early Wes Anderson movies were also like co-written by Owen Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the time starred Owen Wilson.
Yeah, that was
So
Owen and Luke's first movie, right?
yeah, I think it might be like this was before Armageddon, like before Owen Wilson was
Be,
in
be,
Armageddon.
before Clint Eastwood directed Armageddon.
Yeah, before Clint Eastwood directed Armageddon. A joke from earlier. What was that movie? So Jared wasn't recording, but earlier I was like, without skipping a beat, I was like, what was that movie Clint Eastwood was really famous for? Oh yeah, Armageddon. I meant to say Unforgiven, but it came out Armageddon for some odd reason. Anyway.
Oh, great. Yeah, this is almost like what you were saying earlier about friends being together, like with Neil Blomkamp and Charlotte Copley, Wes Anderson and Owen Wilson being like college roommates and everything, and working together. This is another one of those things where their friendship has really paid off. They've worked together
Mhm.
really well.
Yeah, it was really good to see him in this movie. So anyway, and the thing is, like, you watch Bottle Rocket and you see the comfortable, familiar, funny Owen Wilson that we didn't see for the longest time in his early movies.
Hmm.
His movies after Bottle Rocket, like his first movies that he was in, he wasn't a funny guy. He was just kind of like that guy. Like, I'm pretty sure, like Armageddon, he was that guy. Oh, you mean that guy, the first one to die?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, you know, that was Owen Wilson for a long time before he really started to take off. And so anyway, before all those movies, his first movie was Bottle Rocket, and it's like classic Owen Wilson,
Yeah.
being Owen Wilson. So yeah, that's a great movie. And
And the best thing about this is, I mean, I used to argue this for a long time. Like people that didn't like Bottle Rocket, it's like you guys got to keep watching it. And I mean, this is how almost all of Wes Anderson's movies are. Is you watch it once, you miss so much. I don't know how it happens, but there's like so much dialogue that you just goes over your head and you don't catch it. But if you watch it again, especially Bottle Rocket, I remember watching Bottle Rocket like several times and being like, I don't even remember that line, but people
Yeah.
are speaking under their breath that you don't catch, and it's so funny. It's just, I don't know. It's such a weird style of humor, but it works so well.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It was a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's got, I think it might be the only movie that has all the Owen Wilson brothers in it.
Rushmore does.
Oh, does it? Does it
Yeah,
have?
their other brother is the coach for the
Oh,
team.
that's right. Okay. Yeah. You gotta love when all the Wilson brothers are together.
Uh huh. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. So that's mine.
Good pick. I love that movie.
Yeah.
All right, now for the finale. I went with Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones for directing Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh.
Yeah, the classic. Now, this isn't my favorite movie of theirs, but this is just a classic comedy. Unfortunately, this comedy was ruined for me in high school by everyone was just quoting it, and it got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm kind of tired of the Holy Grail. Because, I think that The Life of Brian is miles funnier, so much better written, but no one quotes that one, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's greatest hits though, It's like
Yeah.
it's Monty Python 101. Like if somebody's never heard of Monty Python, like that's probably going to be the first thing you show them.
Yeah.
Then Flying Circus, then The Life of Brian, and so on and so
Yeah,
forth,
then you kind of... And
But
eventually you can get to the meaning of life.
yeah.
That one's all right.
The
Yeah.
optional course.
But yeah, Holy Grail, it's comedy gold. All these guys, they're so funny. And this was the most bizarre thing ever. I remember watching it as a kid. My dad showed me because my dad loves Monty Python. And he's like, well, you got to watch this. And I was like, all right. I watched it and I was like, what on earth is this? It made no sense to me. It was just so bizarre. As I developed a sense of humor, I went back and watched it and fell in love with it because it's such a unique style of humor. I'm not used to British humor growing up, so I had to get used to that. And then I bought all of the Flying Circus seasons, and man, they're so funny. They're
Yeah.
just wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Great
Yeah.
first movie.
Yeah. I don't. I remember hearing about. I don't know, middle school or so, hearing about Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail, or I saw it on TV. I saw it the first time I saw it. I just saw it in like parts. Oh, you know what? I think the first time I saw it all the way through was actually at school, middle school, on um like on like a free day. They showed like the entire like
Did they really? What a cool
yeah.
school.
What middle school? It had to have been eighth grade, and we had a day where we watched two movies, and it was like me and 100 other kids. Like we watched Hercules and Monty Python's Quest for the Holy Grail, which was
Wow.
pretty funny because it had to have been an edited version.
Yeah, because there's some F-bombs in there.
Yeah, it totally had to been because I don't I remember it being a little kind of scandalous,
Hmm.
at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I can't believe we're watching this. It's funny, I love it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember. I don't think it was all that dirty, but anyway, yes. What a great start.
I agree. That is our list.
Well, yeah, that's our list.
Yay.
Yeah, hour and a half later.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But this was a good one. This was probably the hardest I've had trying to find a list. Usually lists come pretty easily.
Yeah.
But this one's hard because there's a lot of technicalities. You have a lot of movies that you didn't know about from a long ago, and I don't know. Like I had a mental list, but they all were disqualified. So
Yeah. I and none of the people on this list are probably on my top favorite director's list. Maybe Wes Anderson is, but everybody else, like I like them, but they're overall they're not my top tier of
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
directors. But that's fine. Um, so the only person we were missing from this list was Michael Bay. So,
Oh,
oh, we almost made it a whole episode without talking about Michael Bay
yeah. Or M Night.
or M. Night,
Yeah,
our two favorite buddies.
yeah. Mike almost put M Night on there for Sixth Sense, but
Yeah,
that wasn't his first apparently.
yeah. He directed and wrote two movies nobody cares about before that. Sorry, M.
Yeah,
Both M's. M
yep.
and Michael.
M Bay and M Night.
For the record, Michael Bay's first directorial debut was Bad Boys.
Okay, that's better than what he's done lately. All right,
Yeah.
anything after that, that's better.
Yeah. Did he just make our list? No.
Did we just become best friends?
It's like this episode ends now.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was good.
Yeah. You all have a good week.
All right. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.